Alright guys, well it's Tyler coming in from LA, back in the studio. TBT Book Group has read a book, Deadline by Crutcher. We thought it was a really great book. We noticed that you guys have been asking a lot of questions through Twitter and MySpace, and we decided to do a little book review about it. So before we get into an in-depth analysis, let's start with a simple summary. Ben Wolf is the main character and is diagnosed with a terminal illness in the beginning of the book. He refuses treatment and keeps confidentiality with his doctor. His doctor tells him it's a mistake to not go to treatment and to keep the confidentiality. He decides to live up his senior year to the max. He joins the football team. He's 120 pounds and 5'8". He's a very small kid, and by doing this, he's becoming part of the second family. Coach becomes a second father to him. He's the second person he tells about his terminal illness, which is extremely significant because he didn't plan on doing that to anyone in the beginning of the book. He meets Dallas Suzuki, who later becomes his girlfriend. She never really noticed him, and he never really talked to her because he was too scared, because he was kind of a loser. And then when he realizes he only has a year to live, he decides to live it up and just goes for it. He does this because he's risk-taking and decides to go for it. Alright guys, well, there you go with the discussion. I'm not going to give away the rest of the book, so let's take it to the discussion.
Hey guys, sorry I couldn't check in with the rest of you, but fortunately snowed in at my ice fishing cabin in Maine, and it's quite chilly as you can tell, so let's move on to a hot topic. So recently in English we've had a choice unit, and me and my friends decided to read Deadline by Crutcher. We thought this was actually a great book for many reasons, and one key concept I'd like to focus on today is friendship. I'm going to start off with a quote: "Let's get something to eat and you can start me on the Horseshoe Bend videos," Cody says as he throws his gear in the back of the pickup after we shower. This kind of highlights like the friendship and the bond that him and his brother make despite his illness, his terminal illness, as many of you may know, because he's going to die soon. He makes the most of what he has, actually, the time he has left, and he just tries to help his brother with what he can, trying to get him around his college. Instead of being selfish, he just really focuses on helping his brother, and even though he's going to die, he just focuses on the time he has left, which is kind of different, and I found that unique. So it's a really great book, and I hope you all check it out because it's awesome.
Everybody, it's Ben joining you from Hawaii today. Unfortunately, we couldn't be together for this video reviewing Deadline by Crutcher because Tyler Salawada is in Minnesota. Actually, it was snowed in, and Tyler Weinberg stuck in Florida for the week. So I'm going to be talking about how Ben Wolf, the main character in Deadline, explores the struggle between being an individual and a member in the community. He really has an issue with being lonely because of his illness, and he's really sick, lonely, because he doesn't tell anyone about the illness for a long time. It really bothers him, but he really deals with this by joining the football team. Obviously a very strong community, gets very close with a lot of the teammates, such as his brother, Cody Wolf is the quarterback, and they really build a strong bond to that football team, and also with the coach. And it's just really interesting how he keeps himself going by staying in that community, even though he is so lonely as an individual. So now on to Tyler.
Tyler back once again. As many of you already heard, I'm out in Florida hunting alligators. Tyler snowed in, and my bro Ben Wogan, he's out in Hawaii surfing waves, having a great time with his family. Alright, well, this book, Deadline by Crutcher, has been wonderful, as everyone's already said, and I'm here to talk about how Ben Wolf has progressed throughout the book. Alright, well, first things first. Ben Wolf was a selfish character in the beginning of the book. He really didn't care about anyone and the impact he would have on them while he died. And throughout the book, a series of events changed him and how he would go on and live the rest of his life. One of those events was joining the football team. Coach really became a second father to him and made him care about him a lot and the entire football team. I'm going to share two quotes, and one of them is in the beginning of the book, one of them is in the end, and how the first quote is going to show how he's selfish. And let me read that right now. On page 8, he says, "I'm 18, Doc. This is my call. I don't expect you to understand, but you have no choice to go along. This beep is confidential." Alright, this shows how he kind of didn't expect like anyone to really care. He just wanted to live his life and have a great time. He didn't really care about the impact that he had on other people. And then in the end, he tells his parents because he really worries about what the impact's going to be, and it kind of unites their family in a weird way. So on page 281, let me just get here. It's kind of long, so just hold on for a sec. I found out I'm sick. Terminal. It's aggressive and there's not much chance I'll live past this year. An involuntary moan escapes Dad's lips. He starts to rise, but his knees buckle and he sits back down. I don't detect movement from my mother. It's not your fault that I didn't say anything. I thought I could make my life normal. I threatened Doc Wagner that if he broke confidentiality, I'd go after him legally. He did go ahead and pass me on my physical so I could play football. But I begged him and he was just trying to give me a break. Oh my god, Ben. What? I mean, what are they doing about it? This is the hard part. I decided against that. I say it was going to make me sick. And I know this sounds really strange, but I just didn't think it would do any good. And I wanted to have as healthy as year I could. My mother's shoulders start to shake, and I lean over far enough to see her expression is blank. With tears soak the sheets, Dad moves to the bed, wraps his arms around her shoulders, and holds her silently while she slabs. His voice quivers and whispers, "Go on, son. I'll handle this." This really shows his impact on his family and how much he loved them to share this information with them. It's very significant because he was selfish in the beginning, and then a series of events changed him to become an unselfish person, and he cares about the impact, shares the news, and is going to try and do everything he can to be with his family as long as he can to keep the together. Alright guys, well, TBT Book Group had a great time doing this. Once again, I really am extremely sorry we couldn't get together and do this series of events. Had a rough time. And alright, TBT Book Group out. Peace out, guys.